I've been noticing this and I'm trying to understand it, but at some point for me, doing nothing just stopped feeling good. And what I mean by doing nothing, it's not literally doing nothing, but I think specifically this video and my thoughts are in reference to, I guess, mindless consumption. That includes sitting down and just watching TV for hours on end, or gaming, doom scrolling, and what have you. There's many other methods, right? The methods aren't really important, but for me, I've been wondering almost why these things stopped feeling good and why they ever felt good in the first place. I mean, for most of my young years, maybe up until the age of 18 or so, my idea of a perfect day would be just sitting at home, watching TV, watching anime, playing games, COD, Minecraft, whatever. And that would really satisfy me, I could do that for 8 hours, and I could just do that non-stop and keep my mind entertained. And I've been thinking about why these past few years that sort of changed to me, and I think there are a few reasons why. And well, the first one I'm going to talk about is that sort of my baseline seems to have increased in terms of, the things I want, and that's in reference to wanting the things I want in life generally. And I'm not talking about something specific like a better job or a nicer place to live, but more about just wanting to feel more fulfilled, more content with my life, right? And for me, wanting that kind of thing leads me to trying to improve upon myself and reflect upon my actions. And at least one conclusion that I've been coming to recently is that sort of getting bored of consumption has given me a desire to create, right? This enhanced creativity. And, due to my brain almost stopping becoming satisfied with being satisfied, it's leading me to want it's leading me to want to pursue creating things and trying out new things. So I guess for me, if I'm just sitting there and, I do enjoy to watch other people's content from time to time, but if I'm just at home and I'm doing that all day, I can't do that. It just, not only does it feel unproductive, but it almost just feels like it's not healthy for my soul. I'm not quite sure how to put it in words, but that's sort of how it feels. So, I mean, at least one thing with this channel, I think, is helping me get away from that, because times when I would have just sat and not know what to do with my time and just defaulted to doom scrolling or something, gaming. Now I have sort of this outlet in this channel where not only can I be creative, but I can also talk about these thoughts and, think on them and work to improve. So that's sort of the first point I had. The second point, which is a little bit different, but this mindless content that I talked about earlier, right? I think compared to when I was younger, it's more prevalent. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we had gaming, we had TV, but it wasn't as accessible. It wasn't something where I would just open my phone and be able to just be attached to it for hours and hours on end. I mean, I think I didn't have my first smartphone maybe until 11 or 12 years old. And even then, I wasn't really on social media. So the whole idea of social media, doom scrolling, consuming content and all of that, I wasn't really that into it or, that knowledgeable about it until maybe 18, 19 years old. And ever since then, I don't know, the more I've consumed it, it's almost like my brain has just gotten used to it, almost used to being overstimulated, to the point where almost, when I first got into Reels or whatever mindless habit, I feel like it used to give this real sense of dopamine, of entertainment, but now it just feels repetitive, like my brain's gotten used to that and it almost wants more stimulation. And I feel like at this point, I'm coming to realize that instant gratification isn't what I want. It's that feeling of proudness that you get when you create something. I feel like that's what I'm after right now. Just having that outlet rather than consuming. And I think, at least in my case, I find consuming as a helpful way to learn and interact with people. But I feel like it shouldn't just be done in isolation, just consuming to pass time. And yeah, so that's sort of my second point. My third point, and I think this is probably just something that comes with age, especially, I'm sure a lot of young adults can relate to this, but as time passes, you become more aware when you're idling, right? So when I was, I think a couple years back even, I could quite happily do nothing with my day and go to bed and be content with that day. But now, if I do, close to nothing all day, then I won't be able to fall asleep properly. That will be on my mind and I'll be thinking about that. And I think for me, I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing for everyone, but I think for me, the main reason that it feels wrong is because that sort of mindlessness keeps you idle, keeps you stationary. And at least for me, even if it's just, 1% a day, 0.5% a day, or, 1% a week, it doesn't have to be every day, but that feeling of moving forward and developing, I feel like for a lot of us, that's what keeps us going. So to stay, stationary at 0%, or even to move backwards over time without trying to improve, that seems to bring a sense of discomfort now. And I feel like I'm really able to notice that. Maybe some of you can relate, maybe you can't and you don't feel this need to, move forward, to develop, but I feel like it's something that's really come out in me these past few years and it doesn't feel like something I can forget about. So yeah, for me, working on that, I'm trying to, create and be more active in my life, be less passive. And hopefully that works. Yeah. Anyway, if any of you guys enjoyed the video, then please hit that notification bell, subscribe and like. And also if anything I said resonated with you, then please leave a comment down below. And I do aim to respond to all of them. Thanks for listening.